Avtar Meher Baba ki jai. So, Mamaji, why don't you read the My Wish and then we start from there if you're comfortable?
Yes, yes, but
Please.
it's not visible.
Oh, have I not shared? I'm sorry. Yes,
No,
I'm doing it now.
okay, okay.
Mm.
Avtar Meher Baba ki jai. My wish. The lover has to keep the wish of the beloved. My wish for my lovers is as follows. Do not shirk your responsibilities. Attend faithfully to your worldly duties, but keep always at the back of your mind that all this is Baba's. When you feel happy, think Baba wants me to be happy. When you suffer, think Baba wants me to suffer. Be resigned to every situation and think honestly and sincerely. Baba has placed me in this situation. With the understanding that Baba is in everyone, try to help and serve others. I say with my divine authority to each and all that whosoever takes my name at the time of breathing is last comes to me. So do not forget to remember me in your last moments. Unless you start remembering me from now on, it will be difficult to remember me when your end approaches. You should start practicing from now on. Even if you take my name only once every day, you will not forget to remember me in your dying moments. Avtar Meher Baba ki jai.
Meher Baba ki jai. Thank you so much. So, we continue uh, on page 14 of volume 2. Last week, we actually ended our God Speak session by reading about the sad few minutes and moments before the accident, as it was appropriate last weekend. And coincidentally, we are uh, going back to another visit to America in greater detail in Bal Natu now. So the trip was being finalized in the last reading. So we start from that point on. It's a very detailed account, so it will be a few chapters to see this. Yeah. Any one of you wants to read first, or I should start? I'm okay either way. Ravi ji, you
Uh,
want to read?
Yeah, sure, I can read. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, please.
Atar Meher
Mamaji,
Baba
you said
Ki
something
Jai.
later. Sorry.
I'll read if possible later.
Okay, thank you. Jai Baba.
Long awaited, long awaited visit to America. With the beginning of the life phase, Baba's different external activities were resumed. His physical suffering, however, remained an inseparable part of this phase. Although Baba had established himself in the divinity of the old life Meher Baba state, suffering seemed to be the legacy of the new life, which had placed Baba under the limitations of being an ordinary man. Baba's disciples and devotees were informed of his messages and activities to the five circulars mentioned earlier. And with this resident mandali, Baba sometimes discussed his visit to the States. A prayer of semi seclusion continued until February 16th. The next day, Baba went to stay on the first floor of his former residence. Later that day, Baba, with his men and women disciples, especially those who were to go with him to the west, visited Bombay from the 17th until the 21st. During this stay, they visited the American consulate for the preliminaries for obtaining visas. One morning during this stay, Baba went to Juhu for a quiet stroll on the beach. Baba also allowed Mehra, Mani, and others to visit an aquarium. After the new life, this was their first outing of its kind, a delightful visit. Owing to the intense pressure of Manonash work, it was as as if Baba's bodily ailments had not been allowed to express themselves. But with the end of his semi seclusion, they suddenly clamored for attention and had to be attended to. On February 26th, as mentioned earlier, Baba was operated on for piles and fistures. March 1st was an extremely restless night for Baba. The pain for excruciate. He sent a message to Kaikobad, Dastur, that he felt like returning home, retiring to his eternal abode. From the second week of March, his arm was swollen and the inflammation was poignantly painful. The God man comes among us as man to alleviate the sufferings of humanity through his personal participation, a symbolic sharing, and a physical one as well.
I can pause you here for a minute. The key thing is the avatar actually. So we have read in discourses. I'm just repeating that. The avatar actually goes through the pains and tribulations of being human, whereas the perfect master doesn't have to go through that. He's just acting out his role literally. So,
Hmm.
and if you go back to all the avatars, all of them have also endured intense suffering, right? Muhammad through wars, Jesus Christ through his crucifixion and wars, Buddha through a lot of renunciation and sacrifices and physical, tribulations, right? So, in that sense, I just wanted to make that distinction that these things are real, and he has suffered for us, for
Hmm.
creation, for all of humanity, for all of creation, I should say.
Jai Baba, Karthik, it is worth highlighting that last line.
Sure, yeah.
The
Jai
God
Baba.
man comes amongst us as man. Yeah, lovely. This is really,
Yes, yes,
I mean,
yes.
it's uh,
Yeah. This reminds me of his brother. After Baba got getting elevation from Pasni Maharaj, he used to come quite often home, and Baba disclosed that he's God. And his brother, Jal, wouldn't believe him. You are God? You're like my brother, you're like a common man. It's beyond his conception to understand that he was God. So he gives a test and he asks him to put either camphor or coal, one of these things. I think camphor, coal, one of these things. And Baba said, okay, I'll do it. And Baba had to go into the room. No, 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 no. Okay. Jal said, okay, I'm going to put coal in my hand and then see, it should not burn my hand. I should not have any pain. If you are God, take my pain out. Baba said, okay. And Baba had to go to a different room, spend some time. And then Baba came and said, okay, I'm ready. And then Jal put the coal on his fan and there's no pain. And
Wow.
then afterwards, he dropped it. Oh, okay, I believe you. Now there's no pain. But there was burn and he had to be hospitalized for 1 week or so. So Baba stayed with him. So the pain, see, cause and effect, right? When you put a coal on a skin, what happens? The pain, it burns, and burning causes pain. And because he challenged for the sake of Jal, Baba had to take the suffering because he's the one who introduced the concept of cause and effect. If the coal is placed on the hand, it will burn, it cause pain. And in order to not to do that, he has to cancel his own, order or whatever the law he
I
made.
mean,
So,
absorb that impact or
exactly.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Continued with that concept, but he took the suffering.
But I was just thinking about it, so I'm not surprised with Jal's, reaction and doubt. Right? So just think about it.
Yeah.
You're in a normal family, and your brother wakes up one morning and says, "Hey, I'm God," right? So I was just relating that to a personal context of, say, today in wherever we are. So it's not easy to come to terms with that, and
Mm,
I'm not surprised with this challenge. And yes, of course, the example that you cited also brings out the absorption of physical pain on behalf of someone. Yeah.
yeah.
Let's continue.
The last week of March, Baba sent, I remember Karthik, he came to our house when I was just 6 years old. And his
Jal?
color is so jar. Yeah. I think, I'm sure Baba sent this. We had a great memory of this. And we never asked my father or, for the details. And the reason, I'm sure Baba sent him, which we don't know. I'm sure he would not come to, why would he come to Bhimavaram, right? A small town in West Godavari district in Andhra Pradesh. That's where my father was a principal. Uh, can I say that experience? Why he came to?
Yeah, yeah, sure. I think if I recollect correctly, he was sent with a message to all of Andhra, and this was after Baba's Andhra visit. So he was Baba's emissary
Yeah,
who visited all the towns or many of the towns that Baba visited
uh,
and met
yeah,
people, families, and so on. Anyway, you'll know more. Please go ahead.
yeah. No, particularly he came to Bhimavaram because there are only
Mhm.
three Baba lovers. My
Wow.
father and Sri Ramurthy, who introduced Baba to my father. And there's one more businessman. I don't even know who that was. Only three. And he came particularly to Bhimavaram and he conveyed to Sri Ramurthy, the other professor in the college, that he wants to visit our house. And he has come to collect some money, donation for Baba. And my father was in a very, very financially down state. What happened was my father was a principal, and the UGC gave some grants to the college. I don't know UGC, if I remember right, vaguely UGC. So that money was supposed to spend for the backward class and scheduled class and scheduled tribes. They were given a hostel and for their living and for their education, for the books and all. So the correspondence, the committee told my father, no, don't give it to backward people, but give it. Let's use it for building buildings to a college. And my father said, no, I can't do that. I'm supposed to use it for these people. I cannot use it. They said, no, 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 it doesn't matter. You. But interestingly, my father had to sign. Then only they would get the money. If he doesn't sign, they won't get the money. And he refused. And to that, two or three times they asked, and my father refused. And what they did was they cut off the salary for my father. My father had seven children, and three of them or four of them were in colleges, and he had to send money to Visakhapatnam, where they were. One was in Kakinada. My sister, my two brothers, doctors, they were in Visakhapatnam studying medical school. He had to send money. And not only whatever the salary he was making, that was not enough, but he was taking loans. And on top of this, this Jal Dastur, Avtar Meher Baba's brother came and he came to collect some money. My father doesn't know where to get the money. And it was a sudden surprise. My mother learned this, and what she did in her puja room, she would put like Naya Paisa, the very, very small changes, whatever we spend in a small, this hundi in the chambu, they
Yeah.
put a yellow cloth and they would give it to card, right? That she has been collecting for a long time. And she opened up and guess how much it was? 20 rupees change. And my mother brought the change in a sack and tied it and gave it to my father. My father was very surprised. So Jal came to our house and he hugged all of us. And my mother and my sister were feeling very shy because he was hugging is not there, right? So he hugged, and they prayed to Meher Baba in our house, the prayers. And he sat down for some time and my father gave. And then I remember we went to the college and he invited more people in the side of the grounds where they keep all these sports stuff, in the building outside. I remember outside. He gave a talk and showed a movie also about Meher Baba. That was the memory. And then after this thing happened, the correspondence they reinstated the salary back. So that was the story. Thank you for listening to my story. Okay. Shall I
Interesting.
continue?
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. Thank you very much. Thanks for sharing. Namita has taken a lot of notes, so this will go on 15 social medias and 4 reports and become an ebook.
Okay. Shall I start reading?
Please, please, please.
Yeah. In the last week of March, Baba sent a cable to Duncan, who was then in England. He was asked to proceed to the States on April 1st to help those at Myrtle Beach making the final preparations for Baba's upcoming visit. He also instructed Meherji to cable Elizabeth, and Baba would fly from Bombay on April 18th for the States. Baba and the woman Mandali left Meherajad on April 6th, 1952 for Bombay. All stayed at Ashina,
Ashiana.
Nariman's flat. Hmm?
Ashiana.
Ashiana, right. I
It's a
asked
name of the apartment.
name of the apartment. I asked what's going on with Ashiana building, I believe McDonald Corporation bought that building. They own it, it
Oh, okay.
seems.
Okay.
Nariman's flat. During this day, in one of his good moods, Baba gave a short message on 1 and 0. One, the one real. I is the ocean of bliss. 0, 0 is the sea of suffering. The real I, 1, does not harass at all. 0, in brackets 0, persecutes all the time. In the forthcoming fiery free life, with the grace of God, this 0 is to be set on fire. Fiery free life is not a phase to be understood, but witnessed. Within a
Wow.
day
So
or
he's
two,
he's making an
yeah.
announcement which is very dramatic to say the least. So he
Mm.
says it's something to be witnessed, the theory free life, the third part of the new life. Anyway, yeah, this phase was to begin on November 15, 1952, the theory free life. Okay. We are in 1952. This is the US trip to 1950, in 1952, which is the one also having the accident that we talked about. Yeah. Go ahead.
In a day or two, Baba asked Sarosh to rent an apartment in the city which would fulfill certain requirements. Eventually, on April 10th, Baba, with his close ones, left Ashiana for Bandra, a suburb of Bombay. He was to stay there on the first floor of a building near the famous Mount Mary Church, which has a large Christian community around it. However, The new apartment did not prove satisfactory. Glimpses of the God Man. As it was right on the highway, the din and noise of the traffic was very annoying. That night, Baba was restless. He would be down in one room for a while and then move into another. He slept very little that night. The next morning, he looked extremely tired and drawn, and in that mood, he instructed the following message to be conveyed to by telephone to those staying in Mehrabad. Health is not good. There is much disturbance in and around the building. At night, the traffic caused a lot of disturbance. Although going to the west is a must, visit to the west seems uncertain. Communicate this to all. Hmm. Baba did not wish
By
to.
the way,
Hmm.
you were not there last week. We read of three postponements, all of them related to Baba's state of health.
Hmm.
And to a point where he sends a telegram, a letter to Elizabeth saying, I assure you that I will come, but there may be delays and whatnot. And then she writes back saying, take your time, your health is important, whatever. Right. So now again, there is a hint of delay. Yeah. Go ahead.
On Good Friday, April 11th, while at Bandra,
No,
Baba
no,
had
no. Baba
casual.
did not. I moved the page. Baba did
Oh, I
not
see.
from
Hmm.
here. Yeah.
Baba did not wish to continue his stay at Bandra, so all moved back to Ashiana. Baba reprimanded Sarosh for not finding a quite suitable place for him. About this time, Sarosh received the heartening news of a cottage of 3 rooms which was available at Marway, a village more than 25 miles from Bombay. This made Baba happy and he agreed to leave for this new residence, which had been newly built for convalescent nurses. Here, Baba looked. What is convalescent nurses mean?
I
Oh,
think
those.
Hmm?
who help. Yeah. I think it is people who help patients who are recovering from an illness. So I think
Okay,
the
okay.
nurses that help convalescence. I think that's what he
Oh, I
means.
see, I see. I thought nurses are
Uh,
convalescent.
no, most probably the sick nurses who are convalescent, they are getting back to normalcy. They take a rest here. Probably it
Okay.
means
Maybe,
like that.
maybe,
Oh, yeah,
maybe.
that makes
I
sense.
mean,
That makes sense.
yeah, sure.
Here, Baba looked
Either way,
somewhat
it's
relaxed.
some community living accommodation. Sounds
Hmm.
like.
Convalescent nurses. Okay. Here, Baba looked somewhat relaxed and rested. In the morning, he liked to take long, solitary walks on the beach. Sometimes he appeared very solemn. On Good Friday, April 11th, while at Bandra, Baba had casually mentioned that the crucifixion was unbearable to him, while on the Easter Sunday at Marway, he looked rested. Perhaps he could have been a rehearsal of the events that were to happen in the States. The auto accident and the convulsion period at Yupon Dunes, Myrtle Beach. This Yupon Beans, there was a house where Baba rested, was acquired by Sufism
Yeah.
revived
Even now, it's under Sufi.
under
I had a
there.
very interesting. I had an interesting episode that I'd like to share at this time. 10
Mm,
days back, I met somebody for business in Dubai, and
mm,
we got talking. We spent an hour together. Towards the end of the conversation, I just, out of politeness and small talk, I asked him, where is he from? He says, South Carolina. Then I say, oh, okay. And where in South Carolina? He said, Myrtle Beach. Then I say, oh, really? Which part of Myrtle Beach? And then he says, Kings. And then I say, Kings? Have you heard of
Kingsway,
this?
Kingsway.
Yeah,
Mm,
Kings Highway. It's called Kings
mm,
Highway and 101. That's where
yeah,
the
Metal
center
Beach.
is, right? So
Mm,
yeah, so I asked him, do you know the center? He
mm,
says, yes, I've seen the sign. So tell me more. What do you know about this place? Then I
mm,
said, this is Meher Baba's place and it's a fantastic sanctuary. You should go in. And he's like, wow, I can't believe this. We're sitting here in Dubai, halfway across the world, and you come to my backyard. And he's actually a techie who is ex Wall Street, then moved down south. And he's made Myrtle Beach his home. He lives. I don't know how familiar you are, Ravi. Remember, across the street there is a shopping mall and everything.
Yes, yes,
He's
I know
on the
very well. Yeah.
yeah. He's just on the other side. There is a community, so that's where he is.
Okay.
So he's very, very
Okay.
close to that. So I thought it was a
Oh.
very interesting little Baba moment that I had
Mm.
in the course of work. But
Yeah.
again, nothing can compare with Kama and his constant Baba experiences. But yeah, sometimes I get them too, I guess. I think we all do.
Yeah.
Karthik, that's
Yeah,
Baba's way of putting
telling us.
his name in the ears of the person you met, and from the ear to the
Yeah,
heart.
yeah.
It is, so I mean, you're basically spreading the good word. The good, very good.
Absolutely. No, and also it's such a nice, heartwarming feeling to get Baba into a conversation,
Mm.
Oh yes,
Mm.
right? So
absolutely.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, three
Yeah.
3 days. Okay, I think we can rotate the reading. Either anybody else also wants to read, we can. Yeah,
I want to
Raise
read.
the
Mamaji
hand.
also wants to read
Okay, okay. After Mamaji, I will read.
after Mamaji. Okay, three
And
days prior Mamaji.
Okay,
after
okay.
Noitaji, I'll read.
Okay, good, sure.
3 days prior to his flight abroad,
Thank you. Sorry, thank you, Ravi. And over to you, Mamaji. 3 days
Jai
prior.
Baba. Jai Baba.
3 days prior to his flight abroad, the Baba families in Bombay were allowed to have his darshan at Ashiana. On April 18th, by late evening, Baba with his disciples drove to Santa Cruz Airport where about 100 people had gathered to give him a loving send-off. He was profusely garlanded and he looked very radiant. The plane took off at 11 p.m., carrying the godman to his eventful visit to the States. Welcome to America. Although spending 2 days on a plane is always a bit exhausting, their journey was relatively comfortable. The seat in front of Baba was swiveled so it faced Baba, which allowed him to put his feet up on the seat and stretch out. It was also put in a reclining position to make it even more comfortable for Baba. Although the woman mandali who then sat in the chair in front of this were forced to lean forward to the whole time. They all took turns sitting in this cramped position so that Baba could be more comfortable. A small sacrifice and what a reward. The first stop after Bombay was Cairo. It was cold and they all went out for a cup of tea. At Rome, Baba got off the plane and had a brisk walk about the airport. From Rome, they flew to Shannon, Ireland, and then set out across the Atlantic. The crossing was a little rough, but they made it without incident to Gander, Newfoundland, and then to Idlewild, New York. Baba had insisted that his arrival in America should be kept a secret, so only Elizabeth and Margaret were there to meet Baba. However, there was also a representative of the International Airways who had come to meet Mr. M.S. Irani. Gabriel Pascal had made the arrangements so that Baba would not be bothered with reporters or have any trouble with customs. The man knew He was helping to facilitate the landing of a VIP from India, but he had no idea it was in fact the avatar, not just an important person, but the most important person in the world. The women were rather amused when the International Airways representative came up, greeted Mr. Irani, presented him with his card, and shook hands. This being there, his being there, however, did help Baba and the others to get through all the red tape expeditiously. But probably the most memorable event of the flight occurred on board. Baba spent most of the time on the plane, stretched out, with a sheet pulled up over him, apparently resting. There was nothing to indicate who was under the sheet, and yet the woman noticed that a small girl kept wandering down the aisle until she was next to Baba, and then she would just stand and stare at him. Perhaps she was just curious about who or what could have been under the sheet. But after a stop, when she got off the plane, a new family got on, and their small boy kept finding excuses to wander back to where Baba was resting so he could be near him, especially so that when he caught a glimpse of Baba, he often stood gazing at Baba, occasionally patting his shoulder. Once Baba lovingly stroked this young one and lightly pinched his cheek in a special tender way. He came back so many times that finally his mother felt compelled to apologize to him humbly. I don't know what's gotten into him, she explained as she fetched him back for the umpteenth time. Of course, the woman knew what had gotten into him, but they were not able to tell the mother that there was nothing wrong with her son. He was merely illustrating the truth of Jesus saying, "What the pure in heart shall see God," saying that the pure in heart shall see God, even apparently when he is hiding under a sheet on a transatlantic flight. Elizabeth and Margaret were overjoyed to see Baba again and led the party to a taxi. As Baba got into the cab, the taxi driver greeted Baba and the women with a cheerful welcome to America. And for the first time in 16 years, Baba was once more blessing the West with his physical presence. First American to invite Baba. I think it is justifiable here to make a small digression. The cabbie's formal yet warm greeting to Baba, "Welcome to America," brings to mind an event that happened 20 years earlier in England when a clear-headed genius, an American, wholeheartedly invited Baba in 1931 to visit states for the first time. Thomas A. Watson was a colleague of the eminent scientist Alexander Graham Bell. He became quite wealthy from this work, but found it didn't found it did not satisfy him. So in his 60s, he took up acting and painting. He visited England and traveled with a Shakespearean company giving performances in rural areas. On proteges, one of his proteges was Milo Shattuck, a Harvard graduate and a young poet. Watson helped finance his trip to England to study, and while there, Milo went to a retreat in Devonshire. The retreat was conducted by Meredith Starr, who had recently returned from India. After spending several months with Meher Baba at Toka near Ahmednagar. On Meredith's return, through the activities of this retreat, he was preparing to receive Meher Baba on his first visit to England. In September 1931, Meher Baba left India and after a short stay in London, visited the Devonshire retreat where there was a group of people anxiously awaiting his arrival. Among them were the Watsons. The night prior to Baba's arrival, all, including Thomas Watson, were devotedly thinking about the master Meher Baba. The next morning, when Thomas woke up, he found his pillow wet with tears, owing to a deep experience which had profoundly moved him while asleep. He left him, it left him enfolded in indescribable peace. In the morning, from the balcony of the retreat, Thomas was gazing at the countryside, wondering at the incredible awakening he had just experienced. Just then, Meher Baba came upstairs. He blessed Thomas by placing his hand on his head. He then patted him lightly on the back and without saying anything, he went ahead. With Baba's touch, Thomas felt extremely blissful and his heart could not contain the inner welling up of emotions. He began to sob like a child. Chanji, Baba's secretary, who was still standing there, helped him to a room which happened to be the retreat's library and made him comfortable. For about 15 minutes, Thomas sat quietly, shedding tears of joy. Then, with a choked voice, he said to Chanji, Sonny, for how long have you been with Baba? With him, Baba. 7 years, replied Chanji. With fatherly affection, he stroked Chanji's back and said, Do you know what a blessing it is to live with the master for such a long period? Yes, but it is his grace, not my efforts, answered Chanji. Thomas, with a hoarse voice, continued, Today I am blessed. I have met him. What benediction! Now I am 78. May I tell you that during my life of intense spiritual search, this is the first time that I have met one who has divine love, and what a wonder that he can awaken this love in others too. You are quite right, replied Chanchi, who continued, Blessed are they whose hearts are awakened by his love. Thomas felt quite at ease with Chanji and added, Sonny, for about 40 years I was a co-worker of Graham Bell, but those years did not answer my spiritual quest. So I developed an interest. Just move ahead. Okay. So I developed an intense interest in the stage and in painting. However, since my childhood, I yearned for the love of God. This urge led me to purchase hundreds of books on philosophy and religion. These, to some extent, are responsible for bringing me here. The books provided food for my mind, but they did not move my heart. With Meher Baba's loving and tender touch, however, what I had gathered in my head was poured into my heart. Words seem inadequate to express what I feel. After a few minutes of silence, he continued, I have a request. If it is not inconvenient to the master Meher Baba, I wish to sit quietly every day for a few minutes in His divine presence and meditate. I shall feel greatly indebted to you if you could convey my request to Baba. Later, Chanji narrated to Baba the talk he had with Thomas in the library. Baba graciously agreed to this request. Some months before Baba's arrival, Meredith Sar had read a book of poems, Song to Celebrate the Sun, by Malcolm Schloss. He liked the poems very much and felt that Malcolm should know about Meher Baba and his mission. He wrote to Milo Shantak in the States to contact Malcolm. Milo met Jean and Malcolm, who were overjoyed to hear about Meher Baba and his impending visit to England. In the course of conversation, Milo heard Jean tell about her mystical experiences. Milo mentioned these briefly in his reply to Meredith. Meredith received Baba's cable about his September visit to England. He took this opportunity to ask Jean to write down her spiritual experiences and mail them to him. He wished to relate them to the master, which he did. Baba looked pleased and lovingly inquired more about Jean and Malcolm. The same day, Meredith mentioned Baba's interest in Jean and Malcolm to Thomas Batson. He already knew them, and being generous, he sent anonymous bank drafts to them towards their passage to England. The Schlosses were delighted and they began to make preparations to visit England to be with the perfect master Meher Baba.
I think we are
One
talking
day,
of Jean Andrel here, and they were, I think, passing through a lean phase financially. That's
Correct.
we read that in that book, yeah,
Previous volume.
where they started making ties, and they had a book business which they had to shut down, and they
They've
started
shut
making
it down,
ties.
bookshop.
Yeah,
Yes. Good
the tie
memory.
business,
Yes, you're right.
tie business.
yes, we
Correct.
read.
Yeah, they were barely able to survive. They were financially.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then right time they got this financial support to
Yeah,
travel
yes,
around.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. So it was
yes,
connecting
yes.
there. Yeah.
Very good connection.
One day during his stay in the retreat, Baba, with the help of the alphabet board and a simple diagram, explained the theme of creation to Thomas. Baba's profound yet succinct explanation of evolution and the process of realization made a profound impression on Thomas. Greatly astonished, he said, Baba, it's marvelous. A subject so profound requires volumes to expound upon, but you have very beautifully presented it to me within a few minutes. I feel that you could do so only because you have realized the truth to yourself. Can I digress and put some personal perspective on this?
Of course, please go ahead.
So this passage that I have read now, I don't know why Baba made me read this. So I gave up all my books about a year or year and a half back, and what books I have is only Baba's. So this relates to what we read here, and this explained the theme of creation to Thomas. That sentence, when I read, I remembered Karthik gave me one book on Baba. First book
Advancing
I
live
read.
stream.
Yes, and
Yeah,
reading
Pune
that,
Center,
I
Yes.
had
published by Pune
reading
Center.
that I had this vision of what is explained here. Thank you, Baba.
Yeah, other
Somebody
thing
can
that I
continue.
wanted to add, yeah. Other thing I wanted to add, these initial years, I think all these guys were handpicked by Baba. Because if you come to the current times where there are so many Baba lovers and there is connectivity, there is YouTube, there are books available, internet, everything, you know. So most people, oh, इतने सारे लोग जाते हैं बाबा के पास, तो चलो हम भी जाते हैं, you know, that kind of thing. But when Baba was not kind of famous, may not be the right word, but when Baba was not widely known, and these individuals got in love with Baba, I feel it was all Baba's doing. Even now it is like that, but that's amazes me in a way. You know, how did they fell in love with him? And there must have been a very working of Baba, of course, and then his love for these people that they drew them so closely to him. If you try to imagine this, it's very kind of enchanting, very puzzling. Jai Baba.
संजय जी, fair point. एक पत्ता भी नहीं हिलता है. One leaf also doesn't move without Baba's grace or his wish. So आप सही बोल रहे हैं. You're saying right. And it's really interesting. Really interesting.
Yeah. I am only saying as a normal, not from a spiritual analysis. Yes, we
Correct.
but as normal beings, how do you get drawn to a person who is not, just 4 or 5 people along with him, and then get so close to him and dedicate all your life to him? So there must have been that charisma or that. I fall short of words, but
I think
Baba
the word
must
is.
have.
I think the
Yeah, but
word.
Baba must have expressed. Yeah,
If I can
Jai
help
Baba.
you, the word is magnetism.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, one word.
So,
Yeah.
I
no,
mean,
it's Baba
Jai
who
Baba.
picks them, right? Are you talking about
Right.
mandali or
That's what
the
I was saying.
lovers?
No,
Yeah.
lovers. He's talking in general, lovers
Lovers.
Yeah.
and mandali.
That's
Yeah.
And
because
like he
So
himself
these
said, it
foreigners,
continues.
especially
Yeah.
these foreigner
Yes.
guys,
yeah,
initial Meredith Starr and Solas and Jean Andriel and initial
they have a
some
long
30s.
age,
Yeah.
many
Jai Baba.
lives connections, many life
Correct. Yeah.
connections.
I think Madam can start now.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Mama, for sharing your uh, coincidental experience or similar experience,
Yes.
and good to know. And thanks for reading as well.
Yes.
Now more
And
to you.
Baba
And
making me read this
Read this
particular
part.
passage. I,
Yes.
Jai Baba, thank you. First of all, I also want to say that all of us are like catalysts to our growth in Baba's path, something links to another thing, and then we become more and more devoted to Baba, and that's big gratitude to this group and to Karthik for keeping it on for so many years, and Baba's grace. I want to also thank Ravi ji. Ravi ji, remember one day we were talking about how do you remember Baba? What's your Baba ritual? And he shared that says Baba's name all the time. If he's climbing something, he's on a treadmill, this and that, and that stayed with me. And from that day onwards, I started writing Baba's name. So I wasn't taking notes. What happens is I try to write it every day, but the days which I miss, then I will write it during this reading. So I write Avtar Meher Baba Ki Jai at least 101 times. So the original seed of doing that, it was Raviji. So very grateful for that. So in one way or the other, we are really helping each other to drink from the huge river of love for Baba. And thank you for that. And now I'll start reading.
No, Nomita ji, I may add that the the spread of the good word. I must thank Ravi and Nomita ji, because I also have got into the habit of writing Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai 101 times. It's just some sort of it gives me occasion to meditate and to concentrate on Baba's name. So I thank this group. Of course, Karthik is the boss. The beats on single string. He puts everything together. So I'm grateful, ever grateful to all of you. Jai Baba.
Jai
No
Baba.
boss, no slave. All are doing
It's
Baba's
all
bidding. That's
all
it.
is
No, no,
is doing.
no,
Exactly.
Bal,
Yeah, yeah,
no,
It's
no.
all is doing.
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
beats on single string. It's not like that you're the. Uh, I mean, of course, you're the coordinator, but I'm saying you're like a mala. You're throwing all of us together. You know, we are all
He
beads of.
is.
Piroing.
He
Namitaji
is. He
and
is.
Namitaji and
I love
Ashok
your
ji.
emotions, Ashokji.
Yeah,
Jai
Namitaji and
Baba.
Ashok ji, I'm very, very, very pleased with your comments. But as Sanjay ji said, it's Baba who does that. You know,
Yeah. Jai Baba.
uh, he creates these thoughts in us, and he makes us say it because he uses different people for medium to awaken each soul at appropriate time. It may be you, or it may be me, it may be somebody else, but he's the main cause. We are
Yeah,
all just pawns in the game, We just
he's
Yes.
pawns.
Perfect. Perfect.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
correct.
He's the main, the one who runs the whole
Light.
orchestra. He's the
Jai,
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Jai Baba. Another thing
If
I want to share is for the longest time, I've been wanting to share Baba's name, Baba's word with Singaporeans, and I didn't know where to start. And there are only a handful of Baba lovers in Singapore. So, with His grace, I reached this Baha'i community, which they hold a prayer every Monday, and their teachings are very, very similar to what Baba teaches. And the good grace of Baba on this whole thing is that they allow me to say my Baba prayers. So every time there is a whole bunch of new people, and I read Baba's universal prayer, I'll sing his songs, and they ask me, who is Baba? What is it? So
wow.
Baba showed me a way. So every Monday, I'm so enthusiastic to go there and talk about Baba, and they are from all walks of life, and that's been such a window of bright Baba's blessing to go there and talk about him. So yeah, that was another thing Baba facilitated. When you crave for something, Baba knows how to put it
Use you.
together.
Use you.
Yeah.
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 Very interesting, very interesting. Whatever work you're doing, it doesn't need to generate results right away. Baba is making you to do that work, and that will put a seed. Maybe after a while, the people may be interested in Meher Baba. When the appropriate time comes, when they are ready, then they might come back. Oh, yeah, I heard from that lady
Yes,
used to
Right,
come and say
right, right.
Meher Baba prayers. That's about last year or so. I'm interested in that.
yes.
You
They
know,
want to.
Yes, yes,
Many
yes.
of them want to come. They
Yeah,
ask
yeah.
me, "What is it like?" It's so
mm,
beautiful. It's really nice. Now, before I start reading, there's one because this is almost like a counseling session, both Baba and human. You know what happens is sometimes I feel we are also subject to Baba envy. We hold with Baba's grace, we hold ourselves very well, but then not everyone takes it so well, and then people stop talking to you. They start being not so polite. So how does one deal with it? I keep on submitting it to Baba. I said I didn't do anything wrong. Why is this whole world not the way I would like it to be? But these are challenges. We hold it well, but as other Baba lovers, is there a
Yeah,
way
yeah.
out to
I,
this?
I think it is just their sanskaras which come out, and also they act on our sanskaras, that our sanskaras get killed. So that process goes on parallelly. We have to just smile and submit it to Baba. That please help me do, keep my composure, keep my balance, and still keep working for you.
Uh,
रास्ते से डिगे नहीं जिसे हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं. So that way, that's all it is. It is your sanskaras being attended by their sanskaras separately. So it is your purifying process also. That's what I think,
Thank you. That's
So it's
given a
good for
Can I
better
you
say
if some
perspective
people
in dealing
oppose.
with it.
can I say a
It's,
couple of
it's
words?
good
Can
for
I say a
you,
couple
some
of
people
words?
oppose. Yeah. That way I'm
Yes,
saying. Yeah.
yes, Jai Baba.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah. Can I say a couple of words? A few days ago, very few days ago, this lady was talking to me, and this lady was trying to get into Baba. She's a serious Baba lover, and she wants to go for a vacation in Canary Islands, Ireland, and the Canary Islands. And she got a call from was it embassy, people who give visa to go to Ireland. She's Indian
Dutch,
citizen.
Dutch embassy.
That embassy.
I believe she talked very rudely with her. The lady I was talking to, she's a very high profile surgeon in India and all respected and treated like God. And when that Irish lady didn't care, right? She spoke, I believe, very roughly. And this lady was raging. Oh my God, how she spoke. I almost said, to hell with your country. I'm not going to come to your country. But I had to, because my daughters want to go. So I had to. And then she was talking to me about this. And then I said, you know what Baba said? If somebody nice to you, it's okay. But when somebody is not nice to you, you know what Baba said, Namita?
What?
Better.
Okay. Bow down to his legs. Bow down to his. Why did he say that? When somebody is rude to you, in this case, rude, right? Some people, you're trying to escape from that. Why do you want to escape? You do not want to escape because you want to bow down to them. Why does Baba wants you to bow down to those people who are negative to you?
Because they will solve my sanskaras. They will make me humble and, nimble.
Yeah. See,
So,
what is coming between you and Baba is importance of I. Everybody should love me. Everybody should praise me. What is that? That is Ravi and Namita. I like that. If somebody praises me, oh my God, Ravi, you're a great guy. Oh, I love this guy, And this other guy comes and say, hey, I hate you, man. You're horrible. You talk nonsense, blah, 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 all these things. And you talk all these things and you don't even know all these things, okay? I hate him, right?
So,
Why
Namita
do I?
ji, there is one
What?
sentence.
I mean, can I finish, Ashok ji,
Sorry.
can I finish? Yeah. So I hate him, right? And I suffer. What's happening in that suffering is my I consciousness is affected. More people praise me, I am sustaining that I consciousness. But what we need to do is to do stuff, whether we like it or not like it, whether people like us or not like, but we have to continue to do what we are. And the main thing that is affecting us is the I consciousness. More people hate us, we come across more people who give us challenging situations, that's better for us. That helps us to be humble, as you said. Yes.
thank you.
So,
Thank you so much for sharing.
Jai
Thank
Baba,
you.
Jai Baba,
It,
Jai
it
Baba.
cleans up the slate for me. I feel happy. Thank you. Ashok ji, you wanted to say something?
Sorry, Ravi. I thought you had finished.
No
So
problem. No problem.
I have a message which I got in MPR, and it's on my table, and I just read out the message. The ego can be dissolved only through real love. So we all have circumstances in our life, and so the ego is the lag, lust, anger, and greed, and we also get anger when somebody doesn't, behave in the right way. So, but it can only be dissolved through real love and nam smaran, or chanting Baba's name continuously. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba, thank you very much. Thank you. This is very useful. Previously, I was very reactive, You said something to me, I'd just blow your face. Now I think in Baba's love, I don't do it. Not immediately. But I wonder why is this happening to me? My heart is clean. I'm always talking about Baba. Why are these things people turning against me? So perhaps I have some, debris to clean, and Baba is going to lead me. So I think in all circumstances, the only way is to submit to him, and then he shows us the way. So thank you very much for clarifying. And now we'll read. Whenever I have to read, I touch the hornet's nest. So many things come out.
No, no, I think overall today everybody has had something to share. I hope those who haven't till now will also get an opportunity by the end of the call. We have another less than 30 minutes to go, but we'll have two people ready. That is Norm, followed by Ashok Ji as requested. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. I start. One day during his stay in the retreat, Baba, with the help of the alphabet board and a simple diagram, explained the theme of creation to Thomas. Baba's profound yet succinct explanation of evolution and the process of realization made a profound impression on Thomas. Greatly astonished, he said, Baba, it's marvelous. A subject so profound requires volumes to expound upon, but you have very beautifully presented it to me within a few minutes. I feel that you could do so only because you have realized the truth of it yourself. After a little pause, he continued, Baba, America is the country for you. You must pay a visit to the States. In case you decide to come, I extend to you a very cordial invitation on behalf of the American people. It was a spontaneous invitation, and Baba did not totally refuse it. He answered, I'll consider it and I'll let you know. At the end of the interview, Baba conveyed his fond love to Thomas Watson and his wife and fixed the date of their departure to the States. After a little pause, in fact, even after reaching England, Baba had no plans to proceed to the States. However, as responsive as always to the love of his lovers, Baba abandoned his previously determined schedule with no previous preparation and without anyone personally knowing him in the States except for John and Malcolm and the Watsons, he decided to lay the cable of his love by paying a visit to America. Jean and Malcolm were informed of Baba's unexpected decision to visit the States. There was no need for them to sail to England to see Baba, as they were now not only going to meet him, but were to act as hosts when he came to America.
Wow, I was not aware of this. This is very interesting. So it's literally the invitation of Thomas Watson, and in days, Baba decided his first trip, which is in the 30s to the US. So very interesting.
At, at the beginning of October, however, Baba sailed to Constantinople, where he stayed for 9 days. Then he went to Genoa and left from there for New York, where he reached on November 6, 1931. A day for rejoicing, especially for all Baba lovers in the States. The day when Avatar of the Age set his foot for the first time on American soil. It seems fitting that Thomas A. Watson, who was the first person to hear words communicated through the telephone, was also the first one to invite the silent word, the word, made flesh to made flesh to America, a symbolic coincidence. Baba sanctifies Meher Center. After his arrival in New York in 1952, Baba allowed John Bass to see him for 5 minutes. He was meeting his beloved master after a period of 21 years. The short audience had a deep impact on him. He later wrote, I felt such great divinity in Baba's presence. I don't know how to describe it. It is something never felt before or afterwards. The feeling of Baba's terrific power and energy. At the same time, a certain peace permeated, so that I remarked to Elizabeth, who was outside the room at that At the same time, a certain peace permeated, so that I remarked to Elizabeth, who was outside the room at that time. But Elizabeth, Baba is tremendous, magnificent. Elizabeth replied, yes, Baba is what he is. After a short rest in the hotel, Baba and the women left by train for Florence SC from Penn Station. Later, Money wrote from Myrtle Beach a descriptive letter to dear everybody at Mehrazad and Mehrabad. At the end of this long letter, she wrote, I forgot to mention one thing. The American people are the most friendly and warm hearted people everywhere, and the service is so efficient and willing. It is perpetual pleasure. To portray the first few hours of Baba's visit to Myrtle Beach, I cannot help quoting Kitty Davy, who was a personal witness. Arriving late noon at Myrtle Beach on a bright sunny day, April 22nd, Baba and party went first to his own house, the new house at the far end of Long Lake. Norina was awaiting Baba in the living room. It was a wonderful reunion after 4 years of waiting. The room was bright with flowers and sunshine and aglow with Baba's loving presence. We stood whilst Baba sat on the sofa with Norina alongside. We remained a few minutes in silence, thus Baba, bridging as it were the span of years of separation, got up and motioned us to follow, and led by Norina and Elizabeth, allowed himself and all to go through different rooms, porches, etc. In his own bedroom, he saw a big surprise, a large bed stung in the Indian fashion, not with box springs, but with strips and strips of wide, strong, interlaced tape, which can be tightened when necessary, if you know how. When we were again assembled in the living room, Baba took his board and spelt out, Money translating, how happy he was to be there, and most of all, how deeply touched he was with the love, devotion, and work given by both Norina and Elizabeth throughout the past years in preparing such a unique spot for his work and comfort. No detail, no expense had been spared to carry out his wishes, and all had been the labor of love, love direct from the heart, and as such he accepted the gift. Footnote number 18. Money, in her first letter from the center addressed to dear everybody, related Baba's happiness thus. This morning, April 23rd, Elizabeth drove us around the whole of the property, and Baba told Elena at the end of it, I'm not only extremely happy, but also touched by your love, which has made you do all this for me. Really, they are a wonderful pair. The Wakener, Volume 6,
No,
Number
that's
4.
19. No, that's 19. That's
Okay, okay.
19.
All right. All right. Since the time is not much, maybe Ashokji wants to take over?
Yeah, another 5 minutes and then we'll
Okay.
split.
All right. Baba proceeded to walk around the grounds surrounding the house, having us all stand at different viewpoints to appreciate the magnificent view of freshwater lakes with a vista of ocean beyond. We then followed Baba out of the large front gates and walked south to the other cabin situated about half a mile away. We stopped first at the guest house where the Eastern women were to stay. This house was the only house, except for Baba's, fully equipped with kitchen, dining room, etc. The Indian disciples who were to be with Baba during his visit to America and Europe, Adi, Sarosh, Meherji, Gustaji, and Dr. Neelu left Bombay by the TWA flight on November 20th, Sunday at 2 p.m. Owing to engine trouble, their flight and several halts, the plane was detained at Iceland. After a day's stay in New York, they finally reached Myrtle Beach on April. Want to scroll down?
Can you see?
No,
Left by.
it's how much I already read.
Okay, now.
Now I see the footnote.
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, I don't know. Maybe you got to pinch to minimize. I'm showing the whole
Oh,
page.
I don't know. Oh, yeah,
Same
it's
thing
not
here.
doing
So
anything.
we are just seeing only footnote number 18. That's all.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
all.
that's it.
We have
Okay.
to roll it further.
Yeah.
Roll it further to the next page.
You have to scroll down. Scroll down.
Okay. Let me just stop sharing and share again. There's something neat happening. Can you see now?
No, not
Where
the
you were?
footnotes.
Where you
Yeah,
were was this.
this
Okay.
is finished.
Going,
This is finished till April.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go to
That's
the
all.
next page.
Till April. Exactly.
No. Last word April. Go to the next page.
Yeah. After
Go
a
to the
day's
next
stay in New
page.
York. Yeah. Yes.
After a day stay in New York, okay, yeah, that one. Yeah. 24. They were happy to be at the center on the lakes, a property of about 100 acres of virgin land, beautifully situated on the Atlantic Ocean coast. Between the ocean and the grounds, there are two freshwater lakes. Winding roads had been constructed through the woods. Elizabeth and Norina had built a beautiful house for Meher Baba on a bluff overlooking the main lake with the ocean beyond. It is situated on the highest point of the center, a place befitting Baba, the highest of the high. It had also been thoughtfully furnished to suit Baba's relaxation and work, and this the men mandali appreciated the most. Off to one side of the main lake is a small lagoon spanned by a bridge that naturally divides the buildings at the center into two groups. Baba located the cabins for everyone to stay in. Mehra, Mani, Meru, and Gohar were already residing in the guest house on the north side. The side Baba's house is on. The men Mandali were instructed to lodge a in different cabins on the south side of the lagoon. Sarosh and Meherji were lodged in the cabin on the hill, Dr. Donkin in the caretaker's cabin, Gustaji in the far cabin, and Adi and Dr. Nilu in the near cabin. Before resuming the account of Baba's first visit to Myrtle Beach, I wish to quote that Mani said on tape in late 1970s as an introduction to a slide documentary on the Meher Spiritual Center. Baba first visited Myrtle Beach in 1952. We were with him, Meher, Gohar, Mehru, Rano, Kitty, and myself. On our arrival, I felt that Baba had already been there. His presence was so strong, and I realized Baba had blessed the center long before. Every nook had so much of his presence on the bridges, under the trees, at the beach, in the barn, by the lake. Naturally, it is the one place in the West Baba has specifically directed to be found, but he had already found it before. He sent Elizabeth and Norina to look for it. He gave the conditions so that the conditions were like clues to the place Baba already was. He had already planned it before. He set out to look for it like a treasure hunt. And even now, when we think of the center and its beauty, Baba's beauty, that is reflected there, it is with nostalgia, and yet we are there right now in our hearts.
Beautiful.
There is a
So
cross
this
reference.
is, yeah. yeah. There's quite a few cross references. I'll just mention that, and then yeah. So the first one is this: money words are quoted from volume 1 of this book. In the last page, we had two references. Awakener. So 19. That is, this came from Awakener. This message. Baba proceeded to walk around the uh, center. And yeah, Kustaji, that's just the alternate spelling that's mentioned here. Okay, so also we have 15 minutes, so maybe we can rotate to Ashok ji. Thank you so much for reading, Namita ji.
Jai Baba, thank you. I have some very mundane question which kind of keeps on coming to my head. One, how did Baba know about so much geography? What was the reference point? Were there atlases? How did he know what is where? And I mean, he's Baba after all, but honestly, how does he? Even today, I don't know where these places are.
Yes.
And the
You are
second thing that
thinking
comes to my
Baba.
head is, how did he fund all these trips?
You are
Does
thinking
it make
Baba as the man Baba, but Baba was the God also.
No,
Yeah.
CMs, right?
funding part of it, Meherjit Thakaria, he had a business, filters. He used to make filters. And he
Mm.
had a roaring business. He opened a factory in Iran too. That's where the Abdul Pakarwan used to live. He had contact with Meherji. So he was getting a lot of money. So when he was talking, he would say he doesn't know how accidentally he got into this business, how he set it up. It's all just happened. The money was pouring, and Baba was using that money for his work.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you. That clarifies because that's also to say that Baba, when he makes you do anything, he makes sure that it's sustainable from some way or the other. So it's again his doing, where the money comes from, where it goes, what it's just the water for finds its own path with Baba's grace. Thank you very much. Okay, over to you.
every paise he spent he was very very careful. He had to spend for others. Mandali were living in a very poverty. Almost they were eating, drinking milk. I mean tea without milk, and they are hardly having chapati and dal and rice. Very very simple food. Baba was very
Okay,
very
I was
frugal.
just tempted to show you some pictures from Myrtle Beach, the center. So this is Baba's house. This one on the left, in the middle now. There's a better shot down. Yeah, this is a better shot. So this most buildings in America are made of wood. This has double concrete as requested by Baba. Like again, you said, uh, Nam,
Mm.
he had elaborate instructions sent out long before he even stepped on this property on what he wanted, and that was exactly made. And that joy and the excitement you can see in the last chapter, how he walks around and enjoys this creation that he requested for, or rather ordered through detailed letters.
Jai Baba,
That's Long Lake.
another thing that's kind of struck me is he used to do the big picture and he would do the small picture as well. So when he is
Yes,
allocating the rooms, he's the one who decides who sits where.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, so this Baba doesn't outsource anything. He is involved in everything.
yes.
Actually,
So
this Myrtle Beach was selected by Margaret. It's owned by Margaret.
Elizabeth,
Who is that? Elizabeth Patterson, and
Elizabeth Patterson. Yeah.
Baba gave this task for these three ladies. Margaret, who was the Elizabeth Patterson, Kitty
Kitty
Davy.
Devi and the dancer. What's her name?
Oh,
The
Margaret.
the
No,
ballet. Yeah, yeah.
Princess
No,
Machiavelli.
yeah. Machabelli. Yeah,
Ah,
Norina.
so Norina Machiavelli. I think it's Baba's giving a chance for them to work on this, but actually, in some other place, Baba mentioned about a minor avatar came and walked around this area. So the minor
Oh, okay.
avatar prepared this area for
The
the avatar to
ground.
come. Yeah,
So
but
that
Baba
was
did
the
not
advance
mention the
party.
name of that minor avatar.
It was
Wow.
how many of you been there?
I've been there.
Been there too.
Karthik was there, right?
Yeah,
Right?
I was there. Yes, I was there.
Sunil went as well last year.
Well,
Oh,
it is
Okay.
on my dream list on things to do.
Yeah, so this is where it is, right? So we were talking about King's
Um,
Highway and all of that. So this is the center, 500 acres of it.
wow.
That's Long Lake. That's Long Lake. And right across the road is the Walmart Supercenter that's there. And
Oh,
you have the private beach as well. So the property, this is a private resort. This is a private resort, right? But this part is completely the center, and you can see that's the last undeveloped part of Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach is like Goa, completely golf and beach, and it's a summer resort. But this is the only untouched part. It's amazing. I mean, it's and
um, uh, my heart is
Didn't Baba
leaning
say
towards
that I've been
there.
here before?
what's
Hello,
that,
Uh,
Baba.
Sunilji?
I said, I thought Baba said to somebody, Noreen or whoever, that I have been here before. Or was it for the West Coast, that place?
The center, yeah.
One of the two, I think I heard that Baba said I've been here before. Something like that. Or was it his junior avatar or something?
Maybe,
Yeah.
yes.
Minor
Just my
avatar,
faint
minor
memory.
avatar.
Yeah.
I have another question. He says he handpicks people who have had some karmic or many lives of some connection with Baba. But then the whole mankind, all creation is his. Then why is it only some of them are in Baba's fold and not everyone else?
They
I
have
have
to
an easy
spend.
answer to that. Sanskaras, yeah.
Yes.
There is one talk by Iraj where he likens the whole creation or mankind. It's like procession in a julus or a parade,
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
it is led. If you have heard that talk, it is led by the avatar who is at the center. So there are people who are very close. There are people who are a bit behind. As they get further progress, the others get a chance. So it is we should be lucky that we are at least able to see him when we raise our toes and try to raise our height. We are able to see Baba somewhere there. Some light is coming from somewhere. And the people like who are in the mandali or who have been physically there were just around and walking with him very closely.
Yeah.
So it's
All
just
right.
that.
Yeah,
That is
another
maybe
point
one
of view
explanation that
is
I have coming from that talk. Yeah, yeah, Baba.
another point of view is, see, why did Baba became see, we are all Babas, right? No, we don't exist actually. It's the Baba who is experiencing in multiplicity. Baba divides himself, and because Baba is God is one, we are opposite to one is multiple, right? So that's because of the ignorance. They're all multiple. And why did he create all these things? Is to we started out with not knowing anything. God doesn't know to start with. God doesn't know who
Beyond.
he is. So he created the consciousness and the sanskaras. And to experience the sanskaras, he had to create the medium. And that's what our bodies are. Our body is a medium. And we started out with ignorance, total ignorance. And then slowly we are learning. So what happens in the evolution is consciousness is evolved and the body is also evolved. form is also, vehicle is also evolved. When we reach the human form, we reach the highest form, and then our consciousness also reach to the perfect. But we could not experience God because of these sanskaras we accumulated in the whole evolution period. And we also have to experience the ignorance. And only when we experience the ignorance is nothing but part of knowledge. So slowly we get the knowledge. And also, when everyone is going to this path, let's say they don't care about God, then they have to go through 87 lakhs of lives, and then finally he will become God realized, whatever it is. But there are some souls who experience extreme suffering and extreme joy. When they go through this pendulum of both sides, then the soul gets to the basic point. Why am I suffering to this, both suffering and happiness? What is the fundamental thing? That is when we question. That is when we look for an answer. That is where when we seek God for many, many lifetimes. Because of that connection, now in this avataric period, we were matured enough to Baba tells us. We were there during Krishna time, we were there during Christ time, Muhammad time, but we had other interests. Now in this period, we went through this suffering and happiness, and then we want to get rid of this life. So we started praying to God. That is how we got connected with the Baba. Others also will have their own time, but the time has to come.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
So all right. It's nice to be in this. It's nice to be in the fast lane. Now, talking about the mandali, one question. Sorry, Ashokji, I think you have to read tomorrow now.
Yes,
So
yes.
It's okay, perfectly okay.
No, we will
one
end with
question I have.
a message with Ashok ji will read. Okay.
Yes. Okay, I have one question. Who is your favorite mandali? Raviji.
Question.
I had a very close connection with Bhav Kalchari. He used to come regularly, and I had a very, very close connection with him. And even though I used to go regularly, I had good connection with Urich. Urich and Mani, I loved Mani, but Mehra was always at a distance, I didn't understand what was the role of Mehra at that time. So I used to just put Namaste and move on. Bal Natu was another one whom I liked very much. I had contact with him, and yeah, those are the people. And Vidyavati now says that she is the reincarnated soul of Dr. Neelu, so I have good connection with her.
Very nice.
So these are the people.
Thank you. Anybody else? My favorite is Erich.
Wonderful. I've not thought of favorite, but yeah, something to think about.
Yeah.
I don't
I
have
like Erich. I like his ways. I like how he submitted and gave his whole life to Baba. Baba got him married, and in the evening he told him, "Okay, now she's your sister. That's all. The end of your marriage." He says, "I don't know what that marriage was at all," and then he just kept on, and he's like managing Baba. So another story I heard him say is that Baba had to drink some medicine, and Baba had just had bath, and he told him, "Okay, there's some water in the bucket. Why don't you have bath?" So Erich went and he said, "Okay, Baba, this is medicine. You don't touch it. I'll give it to you when I come." Baba did what he was asked not to do, and he spilled the medicine. And Erich comes out and he says, "Baba, I told you not to touch it." And then you see what you did. And then he says, "I was such a fool. Who was I scolding?" But his love and his submission is so huge that he can indulge the creator. And to have
activity.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, it's to have that kind of a beautiful relationship, like the father and child or mother and child. That's That's really nice. So that's what I like about him, that he can take liberties and he completely submits to Baba. Jai Baba. Thank you.
Hey, Baba.
Erich was
Just,
like
yeah, go ahead, Mama.
Another
Erich
instant in
was
which,
like Lakshmana to Rama.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Baba said he was like a Peter, right? There's
Yeah.
another incident in Vijayawada that happened in my hometown. Was Baba was visiting there, and then in the evening there were a few who wants to come and meet Baba where he was staying. And you just said nothing doing. Baba needs to rest whole day. He was working, nothing doing. We don't allow anybody. And somehow through some other mandali, these people who had contact with all the other mandali, you just said no, and they contacted other mandali, who it was. They went and told Baba. Baba, these people came, and Irich says absolutely nothing. And you know what Baba said? Baba called Urich, and Baba Baba started begging Urich, allow them, they are nice, they allow them. And Urich was saying, no, 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 Baba, nothing doing. This is too late, Baba. You have to rest. Uh, Urich had that much power with Baba,
Yeah.
that much
Yeah.
intimacy, And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Urich,
That's a. Oh, yes.
yeah, yeah. Jai Baba.
Hey,
Jai
Jai
Baba.
Baba. I think Ashok ji,
Yes, Jay
एक बार
Baba.
आप
Yeah.
messages पढ़ लीजिए. Then we will
Yes, yes.
wrap up with that, so that
It's,
you get your turn and you still. I mean, I keep my word.
yeah, thank you. And it is this message is reminds me of Baba's cabin and the message written in his cabin and my cabin duty. So thank you, Karthik. Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Three of Meher Baba's favorite couplets of Hafiz, a mystical Persian poet. Befitting a fortunate slave, carry out every command of the master without any question of why and what. About what you hear from the master, never say it is wrong, because, my dear, the fault lies in your own incapacity to understand him. I am slave of the master who has released me from ignorance. Whatever my master does is of the highest benefit to all concerned. Hafiz. Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai.
God Meher Baba ki jai. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
I
Karthik.
will stop recording, but we can welcome to stay on.
Who all are going for the